Yep, we are. Okay, cool.
Good. Good. You good?
Good.
All right, cool.
Good.
Bill, tell us where we are today.
We're at the DE Turf in Frederica, Delaware, which is actually right in the middle of the state of Delaware.
Beautiful. And tell me your name and what your position is within DE Turf.
So my name is Bill Strickland. I am the chair of the board of the Kent County Regional Sports Complex Corporation, which is actually the oversight entity for the DE Turf. DE Turf is our trade name.
How did this come to be, Bill?
Came to be with a lot of hard work from a lot of folks. It came to be out of a vision that saw a need for an economic catalyst here in central Delaware. Sports recreation was an idea that was brought to us by the State Director of Tourism, Linda Parkowski, and the Kent County Director of Tourism, Cindy Small, who said, what about a facility that we could bring out-of-state license plates into the hotels and shopping areas of central Delaware? And through that conversation, an ensuing conversation occurred with Kent County Administrator Mike Pettit-Dimash, who said, we have this property. It's on Delaware 1 that has a restricted use, and one of those restricted uses is a sports complex. So from there, there was the understanding of we had a spot, we had an idea, and another group was brought in, the Greater Kent Committee, which was brought in to raise money to bring in a consultant to conduct a feasibility analysis. The feasibility study basically said, if you build it in the manner that you're talking about, they will come. And Kent County will become that sports tourism destination that you so desire. And the economic development that results from that will occur here in Kent County. And from there, after a lot of challenges and developing a lot of important partners, this is really a testament to the value of partnership. It really understands that everyone wins if nobody cares who gets credit. And this is what was the theme, if you will, in driving this project forward. We opened for our first tournament here in 2017, Easter weekend. So between 2009 and 2017, a lot of work went into overcoming obstacles, figuring out ways to move this forward. And as I come over the overpass today and I see this huge tournament here at the complex on a Wednesday afternoon in Frederica, Delaware, I feel a great sense of gratification and pride.
All right, we're done here today. We got it all, Bill. No, I kid. That's great context. So, Bill, we're going to go back to the beginning. I need a couple little isolated sound bites from you. So, for someone that, kids playing lacrosse, they Google DE Turf, give me in one sentence, DE Turf and what you do or who you serve.
DE Turf is for aspiring young athletes to expose their skills in front of college scouts and institutions where they might like to continue their education and, importantly, continue their athletic career.
And tell me, I think there was a bite on the website about, is this the largest outdoor complex in the East Coast or the country? So
it is the largest complex in the Mid-Atlantic in terms of the number of artificial surface fields. So 12 artificial surface fields constitute the DE Turf. What's important about that is that when folks come here for the weekend, their games don't get rained out. The artificial surface allows the games to be played. The only time games aren't played here is in the event of lightning. And then importantly, with all 12 fields having lights, we let the storm go through, and then we come back and play the games in the evening. No one else has that unique a pairing of artificial surface fields and 12 fields that are lit. Okay.
So in its simplest form, would it be accurate to say we have the largest outdoor turf complex in the Mid-Atlantic?
Yes, it would be.
Let's
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we have the largest turf complex, all-turf complex in the Mid-Atlantic. We have the largest all-turf complex in the Mid-Atlantic region.
One more time, because I cut you off.
We have the largest artificial turf complex in the Mid-Atlantic.
How does that make you feel to say something like that? Like 2009, pipe dream, and now the largest complex.
Makes me feel really good.
What's that? Okay, we're going to hold for the plane for a minute.
Oh, okay.
Every single shoot, we have a plane.
Yeah, well, of course you do. Well, we're going to have a lot of with the air base just to the north here.
Yesterday was our only day we never had a plane. comfortable, okay?
Okay.
Thanks. I'll ask you another question, Bill.
Sure.
To get into that.
All right, you're good.
Okay, so I was just saying, you know, in our conversations, you told me how in 2019 this was like, no, it's never going to happen, and now you have the largest, you know, turf sports complex in the Mid-Atlantic. Like, how does that make you feel? Like,
Makes me feel great, and it also makes me reflect back on the relationships and partnerships that really played an integral part on this. I'm so grateful for the folks that came alongside of us and said, yes, we can overcome the obstacles that are in front of you, but we can do this, and we did, and it makes me feel very good.
good, and we're going to move to that partner piece in just a moment, but I want to grab one line that just sets up, you know, if imagine the spot is opening and we're talking about DE Turf for the first time. So, you know, DE Turf Sports Complex is the largest outdoor. Put that together, just one nice bite.
Okay. The DE Turf is the largest outdoor artificial surface facility with all fields being lit in the Mid-Atlantic region.
And maybe just leave some of those details out about
Okay.
just nice.
Sure,
just
sure.
where we are.
Yeah, we're at the DE Turf, which is the largest outdoor facility comprised of artificial fields.
And what goes on here during the week and on the weekends?
The activities here are lacrosse, soccer, field hockey, flag football, and throughout the week a number of youth events that are held here. The key thing for us is the lights are always on Sunday through Friday at the DE Turf.
Love that. What a great bite. And so we're here. There's actually live tournaments going on. You mentioned pulling in the parking lot. You saw a full parking lot. How does that make you feel?
Gratified. It makes me feel that all the hard work that went into this is being realized, and it also makes me look around the landscape of the local businesses and to see them seeing the folks visiting their establishment is a real good feeling.
And then the other line I wanted to grab, Bill, before we move on to talk about the challenges to get this started in that partnership component is just that idea that DE Turf started as an idea to bring tourism to the Mid-Atlantic or to Delaware. Just a nice short line.
The basis of the DE Turf is economic development. A lot of people see lacrosse sticks and soccer balls. I see out-of-state license plates in the parking lots of our hotels and restaurants.
Beautiful, Bill. It's like you've said that one before. Love it.
Once or twice.
And is it important to see this area of Delaware thriving for you?
I grew up here. I live here. I own businesses here. It's just absolutely delightful to see a destination for an area that I call home.
Beautiful. All right, let's go back to the not so happy times, or the challenging times, we'll call them. Okay, Bill?
Right.
So it's 2009. This idea, everybody's feeling good about the idea of the sports complex, but you need a partner, a financial partner who believes in it. Take me through that process.
So the consultants, the consensus was this is something that'll work. The impediment was the financing. So we had conversations with a number of different lenders, banks, etc., trying to come up with a way to finance this complex as a startup. We had a lunch meeting in Dover with Nick Adams and Mike Gass with M&T Bank. And the unique thing about that meeting is they didn't come to the meeting to tell us what they could do. They asked a simple question to start the conversation, which is, tell us about your problem. And for the first 45 minutes of that lunch, we talked about our problems. And we didn't hear anything about this is why you can't. Their singular focus is, we got to make this happen. Let's talk about why we can. And from there, we were able to build a business plan that worked. It worked for the county. It worked for the DE Turf. It worked for M&T Bank. They created, through their ability to listen, a true win-win, which is very rare.
We don't even need me here, Bill. Put me right out of a job. Well, at least one-liners. That's awesome. And I don't know if we want to use the bankers by
Names.
name.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But I love the setting up of like this started with a lunch.
Yep.
So tell me that again, but just with the idea that this started with sitting down for lunch with M&T Bank. Just use it as the entity.
So first of all, there is no DE Turf without M&T Bank. And it started with a lunch with representatives from the bank who spent the first 45 minutes of our lunch wanting to understand our problem, wanting to understand what the impediments were. And from there, they didn't go to the place of, we can't do it for this reason or that reason. They immediately went to the place of, well, I think we can, and here's how we could do it. Let us chew on this idea. Let us figure out how we can get this done, and we'll get back to you because we need to make this work. This is an area we believe in. Central Delaware is an area that we believe in. And they stayed committed from that lunch all the way through the inception, the opening in March of 2019.
And now they're a sponsor of a field?
So a true partner not only helps you get there, but stays with you. So the first corporate sponsor of the DE Turf was M&T Bank. They were here from day one. I kid the folks at M&T Bank all the time that, boy, when times are tough, I want you guys in my foxhole because you guys stay with us through the end.
I love that. I can just feel the client smiling right through the camera.
Good, good.
But I just feel your conviction that you really feel that. Like when we talked on the Zoom, you're like, I remember that line you told. So can you, now that we're in the physical presence,
Yep.
like maybe even just turn around and say, like, we wouldn't have all of this if it weren't for the partnership with M&T, or however you'd say it.
Yeah. So looking around at this facility doesn't happen without M&T Bank. They were there from day one, and they're there today. Not many partners have that type of commitment.
And then I want to grab that line that it's not only that they helped us fund this, but now they're a corporate sponsor of Field 2 or whatever.
Yeah. Their belief in this project was so strong that not only did they provide the financing, they were our first corporate sponsor, and they continue to be a sponsor today.
And also, Bill, that line that you had said to me back there, like when other banks said no, M&T said yes, or however you phrased it.
So we went through a process of talking to a lot of different banks, and the answer was always no. M&T came to the table and said, we want to make this happen. Let's find a way. They said yes.
And you told me back there, it felt like they were the first bank that truly listened instead of just, here's what I already prepared before you even told me what you needed to do.
The interesting thing with them from day one is they needed to understand our issues, our impediments. They needed to understand the business of sports travel. They took the time to understand it, and they created a very, very good and unique way to finance this complex.
You used the word creative financing or creative solution. Is that true to the end package, how it felt? Like, okay, that wasn't something that you just offered the dentist down the street.
Well, it's interesting. As a business person, when asked about the business model of the DE Turf, I explained the financing plan that M&T put in place. And to a person, they all say, that's just brilliant. That is such a great idea. We wouldn't have thought of that. The M&T Bank folks did.
Beautiful. So I'm going to give 1 second before we shift to this community focus to give the clients, if they have any feedback,
Sure.
any additional questions. Nick, can you hear me?
Right here.
Okay. Hi, Nick. Nothing yet?
Nothing yet. No.
Okay. Let's keep rolling, and then just let me know. I'll give you another break, okay? So let's go to the community factor. So obviously, the impetus for this is to build the community up. And M&T is a very community-minded bank. Was that, I mean, I know you were looking for a bank to get you started, but now that you're off the ground, I mean, I'm sure you could bank with anyone. Is their community-centric, community-minded banking practices a reason that you still feel good about that relationship? Does that play into your love of M&T?
M&T has taken the time to understand this area. They understand the interest of the farmer. They understand the interest of the manufacturer. Now they can say they understand the interest of the sports complex. But what's been interesting with the sports complex is to see that their desire to make this happen went beyond just the tournaments that we host. It went to, how does this become a community asset for the folks that live here, that work here? To see the joy of the local youth that they get to come to a world-class facility to play their soccer games, to play their lacrosse games, brings gratification not only to me, but I know it brings a lot to the folks at M&T Bank.
Beautiful. And going outside the community, you mentioned that all the different license plates in the parking lot. This is serving athletes from all over the Mid-Atlantic or the East Coast. Is that an accurate statement?
This complex serves the entire country. One of our events a year ago had a total of 37 states represented here in Delaware for a singular event. We have literally touched every state in the country at some fashion with our various events, our field hockey, our lacrosse, our soccer tournaments.
Beautiful. And can you just give me these two lines that DE Turf isn't just serving athletes here in Delaware, but across the Mid-Atlantic and then across the country?
DE Turf doesn't just serve the local athlete. It's serving all the aspiring athletes in the region and throughout the country.
Beautiful. And let's just grab one with Mid-Atlantic.
Okay. DE Turf is not only serving the local youth, but it's serving all the youth in the Mid-Atlantic.
Beautiful. Notes here, Bill? What do you love most about what you do in here and your involvement in DE Turf? What brings you the most joy?
The people. Understanding that we developed a vision and that we've seen it come to fruition, and you feel like you've done well by the businesses and by the residents of this area. That for me is very personal because this is home.
I think you've done very well.
Done
Not
okay.
just well.
Done okay.
And if you can envision like the way a spot starts, a lot of times we kind of go out there with a one-liner and then explain the story. So for me, Bill, I feel like your one-liner, and it can be anything you want, but I'll put you kind of in the ballpark. It's like, DE Turf was a goal of mine for a really long time, or I've been working towards making this a reality for over a decade. Something like that. It's like, okay, what's
Can I use the word we?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the kind of guy you are, Bill.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. The DE Turf has been our passion project for the better part of a decade. And to see this come to fruition is very, very gratifying.
Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to check with the clients.
Okay.
And see if there's anything.
Sure. Sure.
You want me to cut?
Yeah, you can cut for a second. Absolutely perfect, though. Absolutely perfect.
Looks good. Right, like 2 bars.
You good, Nolan?
Yeah, you're looking good, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, everything's sounding good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So your job's to make men look presentable. You got a tough job today.
My daughter's pre-K graduation.
Oh man, you get to miss that, huh?
Yeah, it's okay. I'll be there for the other ones. But my wife and my mother-in-law will be there, so getting pictures.
Oh, okay. Getting the updates.
Yeah.
That's good. Big day for your family.
Yeah.
Is that your eldest child?
Yeah. She's 4.5. My son's 2.5.
Okay.
They'll be getting.
So you guys are busy on the weekends.
Yeah. But my wife is a teacher, so she's off.
Oh,
Today's her
perfect.
last day for school as
Ah, perfect.
Good to have, nice to have the summer off.
Yeah.
And the good health care.
Yeah. Yeah, where's she teach?
She's at elementary school.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Has she made it out okay working through the last 2 years? That must have been hell
was
for the
tough.
schools.
Yeah, it was really tough. Just like getting the kids to be engaged, you know, at home, especially like some of the parents, you know, and just weren't.
You all right?
Got the set,
Huh?
Bill. Oh Lord.
Hey, we insure this place, so go easy.
Come in for a shoot, leave with a lawsuit.
Ah.
Want me to roll?
Yep, we're ready. Okay.
Camera's rolling.
They said, you know, they wish you were like a little more polished, had some better things to say, but I said, you know, he's struggling out here. But we're
Struggling.
all done. Yeah, right. Nope, thumbs up. Awesome. 3 more things we want to ask, okay?
Sure.
First, when we go back to that, you got a lot of no's at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And if this isn't true, Bill, then we move on. But if it's true, we'd love to hear your perspective on it. Was it no from small local banks that maybe feel like, okay, they'd be investing in community? Was it no also from bigger banks? But when it came to M&T, it was like, they're the type of bank that cares about both. We're we say we're a bank that's big enough to matter, meaning we have the lending resources, small enough to care. And we're going to talk about that more in a minute, this idea of a community bank at scale. But when you were getting the no's, was that from both like small banks and big banks, or?
So when we began our discussions, it was with lenders of all size. And they all went to the place of this doesn't fit our appetite, or this doesn't work within some of the constraints of how we lend. For the first 45 minutes we met with M&T, that conversation piece never came up. That's what made them different. And they never once talked about how many employees you're going to have. You know, show us your pro forma. They looked at this and said, not only is this potentially a really good business model, but the potential impact on this community is profound. We got to get behind it. And they did.
Beautiful. Would it be fair to say, you know, we got turned down from small banks, we got turned down from the big banks. It wasn't until M&T was the first bank that really believed in what we were doing here.
Sure. So we were literally turned down from the small banks, medium-sized banks, the big banks. M&T was the first one that saw promise and moved forward with financing the facility.
Beautiful. And that's a nice transition to that, what I said, we internally, we talk about community bank at scale. When I say that out loud, and then I'm going to tell you, Bill, what we mean by it, but I want to hear, when you hear that, what do you think of? Community bank at scale.
Small bank.
You think small bank?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the idea there is community bank is the small portion.
Mm-hmm.
The boots on the ground, we're your neighbors, lending, making local decisions. And at scale means we can grow and never let go of that community feeling. Is that your experience with M&T?
So I grew up in a small town. Everybody knew the local banker. My sense of M&T is everybody still knows the local banker and has that small town good feeling about it, that sense of connection with the community.
But they must have the pockets to finance something like this, right?
They obviously have the depth of and financial strength to take on a project such as this.
Beautiful. Let's talk about the ripple effect. So now you have those license plates from all over the country in here. Did I hear there's a hotel maybe coming closer on site?
Yeah, we're real excited. A hotel going across the street. We, along with the county, I think see this as a growth area for the region. And I think that's good. It's not only good for the businesses that will come here and benefit from the DE turf, but also for the quality of life and getting our young people to have more reasons to stay and grow up here in Central Delaware.
Is this just the beginning, Bill?
It is. It is. I think COVID delayed us a little bit, but this is literally where I saw us in the first 3 to 5 years, and we're there.
And just tell me that for context, because they'll never hear me say, you know, I think what you're seeing, this is just the beginning. The ripple effect is going to be huge.
What you see today here at the DE turf is just the beginning. I think that the growth here is going to be profound. I think it's going to be good growth, and I think it's going to be a real benefit to the local community.
Beautiful. Got that. Got that. We talked about that. Okay. 2 more things about M&T. You may be familiar with their current tagline, understanding what's important, which is really about listening, right? And understanding what's important. We're transitioning to a new line, which is Together We Can. Still comes from that same place of partnership, listening. But I just am curious. We ask all the customers and people that we meet on the road. Together We Can. When M&T says that, does that feel authentic coming from them, and what does that mean to you? Okay. You get to think, Bill.
Oh.
I like the
I don't like to think. I like to.
I'm gonna ask you like it was the first time.
Okay. All right.
You doing okay? You need water or anything?
No, I'm great.
Okay.
I'm good.
I'm over here. Me and Nolan are sweating, and Bill looks like he's doing a GQ shoot. You guys have the disadvantage of being in the sun. Yeah. If I don't get tan today, Bill, like
Something's wrong.
God doesn't love me.
Something's wrong.
I go right from white to red back to white.
I'm good.
We're good.
Actually,
We're getting a little
Yeah.
it disappeared now. Yeah, it's
It
good. I
catches
think it
in
was
the
just
wind.
the wind. Yeah.
Okay.
We're good. Thank you.
Okay. So back to this Together We Can. Does that feel like an authentic statement for the bank to say, and what does that mean to you, Bill, when you hear those words?
I lived Together We Can. I saw it. I participated in it. Those rings ring very true to me. And this complex is really a testament to the We Can approach that M&T Bank takes.
Can you do that thing? That was beautiful, Bill. Can you do that thing where you turn around, like what you're looking at? This is Together We Can.
Yeah. So this complex is a testament to Together We Can. M&T Bank practiced that every step of the way in the development of this complex, and they practice it today.
Okay, last one, Bill. What would you say to M&T now that this has happened? They've been a good partner to you.
Thank you. I hope that this feels as good for M&T Bank and the folks that got behind it as it does for me. And we will be forever grateful to M&T Bank for making this a reality.
Would you give Nick and the team a big hug if they were here?
No, I would not.
Fist bump?
No, no,
Kiss on the cheek?
no.
Just a thank you.
Just a thank you. They're unfortunate Redskins and Cowboy fans, so I can't. I just
Can't
can't.
do
I
that,
can't.
yeah.
There's no.
You
There's
gotta
no.
draw the line
Yeah,
somewhere, right?
the line's been drawn.
Beautiful. Nick, any final things from?
Nothing, but
Okay, I'm gonna check.
Sure.
And Sanjay, are you doing stills on the same setup?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
gonna have him fly the camera out. I might have you talk to him for a second or someone.
Okay, sure.
Do a couple
So
talks.
Bill, you're gonna stay here regardless. We think we're done with the interview.
Okay.
I'm gonna
All right.
check.
Cool.
You nailed it.
Cut real quick.
So good. So good.
I'm cutting.
Cutting. Okay. Yep, we're good on interview.
Okay.
Yep.
We can pull camera
Bill?
so that
Yes.
Amazing.
Oh, thanks. You made it. You made it very easy.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I just thought it's a nice setup. It's nicely flat.
Did you say Sanjay, you wanted me to be
We're
the
gonna do stills. We're gonna pack this out. Some stills.
Okay.
No, I think just like you did.
Done this.
I believe so.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want to make them laugh.
All right.
Yesterday I just had the camera up here and I was like, look at
Where
this.
did-
Yes, same
It didn't
thing.
really
Yep.
work as well. But if you want
Good.
perfect,
Thank you.
Tell jokes about
The one
corduroys.
of Dad yesterday where he was looking off and smiling, like that's the type
Yeah.
of stuff we want. It can be at the camera too, but yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, Bill. We're gonna do a couple stills.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
wait,
Great.
Are you back far enough, Sanjay, to get like
His
thigh
hands?
up?
Yeah, I've got
I know you're it's probably
Mid-thigh.
deceiving, yeah, because the
I'm
line's
trying to
okay.
not get too wide angle because
Yep.
it gets weird.
Yeah,
But I
that's
am
fine.
gonna just move this back a hair since we're not as exacting as Nolan.
Mhm.
All right, now I can get a little further back.